Welcome along, fellow time travelers. This time around, we're going to talk about the history of the song Let It Be. And I'm going to give a line-by-line analysis so we could try to figure out what in the world the song is really about. Before I begin, please like and share the show and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now let's begin our journey. Let It Be stands out as one of the Beatles' most iconic songs, and they've got a lot. It encapsulates a moment of personal and collective reflection amidst the band's tumultuous final years. Paul McCartney wrote Let It Be in response to personal and band-related stress. He was inspired by a dream of his late mother, Mary McCartney, who had died when he was 14 years of age. In the dream, he said she reassured him with the words, "Let it be." And this phrase became the core of the song, symbolizing acceptance and peace amidst chaos. And there sure was a heck of a lot of chaos going on at the time, wasn't there? George Harrison was obviously very unhappy being in the Beatles, getting his one or maybe two songs on an album, when he had so many others that he had already written that they just weren't interested in. And then you had John Lennon acting like a complete wussy, bringing his girlfriend to work with him every single day. Who brings their girlfriend to work with them? Just didn't make any sense, and it really pissed off not only Paul, but Ringo and George and everybody else. And no one could say anything to him because John Lennon was just, volatile. He'd probably start screaming his head off or throwing shit, or he'd quit the band or who knows what. So you can imagine the amount of stress that John Lennon brought to his friends and co-workers. Really upset a lot of people. Paul initially played around with different lyrics, but the final version emerged in January of 1969 during the Get Back sessions. The song reflects a spiritual or philosophical stance, advocating for letting go of things one cannot control, which I think a lot of people learned from as a result of listening to the song. Let It Be was written during the time when tensions within the Beatles were at an all-time high. It was part of their attempt to return to their roots with live performances and basic recordings, an effort documented in the Let It Be film and album. It's a song that resonates deeply with many people for several reasons, touching on emotional, musical, and lyrical elements. For starters, the song's title and chorus, Let It Be, convey a message of acceptance and peace with whatever life brings. This message is particularly comforting during times of personal turmoil or when facing uncontrollable circumstances. People often find solace in its suggestion to let go of worry and accept what is. The theme of finding peace amidst chaos speaks universally, making it relatable across different cultures, ages, and personal experiences. This universality helps in forging a deep emotional connections with listeners around the world. The lyrics are simple, but yet they're profound. Even though Paul wrote them during a time of personal and band-related stress, the lyrics reflect themes of hope, faith, and resilience. Lines like, "There will be an answer, let it be," suggest that even in confusion or sadness, there's an inherent promise of resolution or peace. Perhaps the most famous lines in the song, besides Let It Be, is the reference to Mother Mary. And that can be interpreted both literally and symbolically, offering comfort through the imagery of maternal guidance or a divine maternal figure providing solace. This spiritual aspect adds another layer of comfort for those who connect with religious or spiritual themes. Let's talk about the musical elements. The melody is soothing yet uplifting, with a progression that feels both nostalgic and hopeful. The use of piano and Paul's gentle vocals contribute to a warm, comforting soundscape. The arrangement, including the iconic guitar solo by George Harrison, adds depth without overwhelming the listener, maintaining an intimate feel. The song uses a straightforward chord progression, which gives it a familiar, almost lullaby-like quality, enhancing its comforting nature. Let's talk about why people love the song so much. For many, Let It Be is tied to personal memories, perhaps from youth, significant life events, or times when they needed comfort. This connection to personal history makes the song a touchstone for nostalgia, which can be incredibly comforting. After all, the song was written so long ago, and so many people become Beatles fans when they were a kid, that the song Let It Be, like so many other songs of course, becomes a part of people's lives. And so they associate listening to that song with certain times and places and events and people. People often turn to music like this during moments of grief, stress, or introspection. It's not just about escaping, but about processing emotions. finding peace, or hoping for better times. The song's message can be emotionally helpful in times of loss, change, or uncertainty. It's commonly played at events like weddings, funerals, or memorials where themes of peace, letting go, and love are central. Listening to it might also occur during reflective moments, like at the end of a difficult day or during a period of transition. I think in summary, Let It Be resonates because it encapsulates human experiences of struggle, hope, and the search for peace through its lyrics, its melody, and the emotional connection it fosters. It serves not only as a source of comfort, but also as a cultural artifact that connects generations, making it a timeless piece of music. Let's talk about the Get Back sessions. The song was first recorded during the Get Back sessions in January 1969 at Twickenham Film Studios and Applecore's Basement Studios in London. These sessions were fraught with tension, with Paul McCartney trying to steer the band back to their original sound and camaraderie. The Beatles recorded numerous takes, with the song evolving from a more gospel-influenced style to the piano-driven ballad that we recognize. Early versions included a more prominent role for George Harrison on lead guitar. In January of 1970, Phil Spector was brought in to produce what would become the Let It Be album. He added orchestral and choral overdubs to Let It Be, which changed the song's texture significantly from the raw, live feel of the initial takes. Now listen, I gotta be honest with you. Most people grew up listening to that song as Phil Spector produced it, as well as all the other songs in Let It Be, and they loved it. They always loved it. They never had a problem with it. But then all of a sudden, Paul McCartney came out of the blue and started bitching about it in 2003, and he wanted to promote Let It Be naked. And then all of a sudden, you got fans all around the world bitching and moaning about what Phil Spector did to the original album, which really was genius in so many ways. Especially if you listen to Let It Be naked. I mean, did you like it? I listened to it once, and once was enough. I personally prefer the Phil Spector version, but you might feel differently, and if you do, please let me know in the comments below. Now, as far as the recording details, Paul McCartney played on the piano at Apple Studios, and he also sang lead vocals, with John Lennon providing harmony vocals. Paul McCartney also played bass with Ringo Starr on the drums. George Harrison contributed with a distinctive, simple guitar solo, which was among his last contributions to a Beatles song. Let It Be was released as a single in March 1970, just before the album. It topped the charts in the US, the UK, Australia, and several other countries. The Let It Be album was released on May 8, 1970. After the band had effectively disbanded, and it became one of their best-selling records. Now, before we begin to analyze the lyrics, I'm going to share some trivia with you. Although Let It Be was intended to return the Beatles to live performances, the only public performance was during their rooftop concert, which was their final live performance together. The song has been covered extensively, with one of the most famous being by Aretha Franklin, whose gospel-infused version hit the charts in 1970. Let It Be has transcended music, becoming a phrase used in various contexts to denote resignation or acceptance. Its message has resonated across generations, often cited in moments of personal or collective crisis. The song has been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame and is often ranked among the greatest songs of all time by various publications and surveys. As you know, Paul McCartney has often expressed dissatisfaction with the production of the song by Phil Spector, particularly the orchestral overdubs, which he felt distracted from the song's simplicity. This led to the release of Let It Be Naked, which stripped away those additions. And honestly, if you want my opinion, like I mentioned earlier, I think Paul McCartney's version kind of sucks. I'm sorry, it just does. It feels like it was some band recording in their garage, and I know that's kind of probably what he wanted. Maybe if there was a professional sounding version that Paul McCartney would have liked, that would have been a different story. But Let It Be Naked, I don't know. I gotta tell you, I wasn't particularly impressed. Now, as far as the Mother Mary reference, many have interpreted Mother Mary as a reference to the Virgin Mary, but Paul McCartney has clarified that it referred to his own mother, providing a personal touch to the song's universal message. Now, as far as the Let It Be film, that documentary provided a raw look at the recording process, showcasing the band's interactions, including the famous rooftop concert. It was initially poorly received, but has since been reevaluated with a new documentary, The Beatles Get Back by Peter Jackson, offering a more comprehensive and positive view. And I gotta tell you, that is a freaking awesome production by Peter Jackson. Oh my gosh, if you're listening to this, there's no doubt about it, you've seen it. It is endlessly fascinating. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Can you do me a favor and like and share the show and kindly subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell? This channel is sponsored by CampfireShop.com. Kindly check them out to get some candles, herbal supplements, teas, and more. Now let's continue our journey. Let's now do a line-by-line analysis of the lyrics to Let It Be. Verse 1, when I find myself in times of trouble. This opening line sets the context for the song, moments of personal or collective distress. It's universally relatable, speaking to anyone who has ever felt overwhelmed or troubled. The next lines are, Mother Mary comes to me. Here, Paul McCartney refers to his late mother, Mary McCartney, but many interpret Mother Mary as also symbolizing the Virgin Mary, thus giving the song a dual spiritual resonance. It suggests a divine or maternal figure offering comfort. The next line is, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. The advice given is simple yet profound. To accept what cannot be changed, to find peace in surrender. Let It Be becomes both the song's title and its central philosophy. We then move on to the second verse, which begins as follows. And in my hour of darkness. This continues the theme of hardship, but now in moments of despair or confusion. Hour of darkness suggests a more intense or prolonged period of trouble. The next line is, she is standing right in front of me. This indicates the immediacy and presence of this comforting figure, emphasizing the idea that support or guidance is always available even in our darkest times. And then the next line is, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. This reiterates the central message, reinforcing the idea that the solution to turmoil is often acceptance. And then you go into the chorus with the words, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. The repetition here serves as a mantra, a meditative chant for calmness and acceptance. It's both a plea and an affirmation, deeply embedding the song's message into the listener's consciousness. And the next line is, whisper words of wisdom, let it be. The whisper suggests a gentle, almost subconscious guidance, contrasting with the louder, more chaotic moments of life, offering a soft counterbalance. We then move into the third verse, which begins as follows. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree. This expands the song's message from personal to universal, suggesting that if all those who are suffering could embrace this philosophy, there might be a collective peace or understanding. The next line is, there will be an answer, let it be. This line proposes that the answer to life's pains or questions lies in acceptance, patience, and letting things unfold naturally. The next line is, for though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. This acknowledges the pain of separation or loss, but holds on to hope. It suggests that even in separation, there's potential for reunion or understanding, possibly in a spiritual or metaphorical sense. And one can only assume that Paul McCartney may or may not have been referring to the parting of ways of all four of the Beatles. The next line is, there will be an answer, let it be. This reaffirms the belief that answers to life's mysteries or problems will eventually come, but they might not be immediate or what we expect. And then, of course, we go into the chorus, which is let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. The repetition here once again serves to ingrain the message, making let it be not just a phrase, but a way of life. Paul then sings, yeah, there will be an answer, let it be. This adds a note of optimism or affirmation to the chorus, suggesting faith in resolution or peace, even if it's not on our terms. There's then a bridge that begins as follows, and when the night is cloudy. This uses the metaphor of a cloudy night to represent times of uncertainty or despair in life, with the next line being, there is still a light that shines on me. And so this likely means that despite the gloom, there's always a source of hope, guidance, or love that persists. The next line is, shine until tomorrow, let it be. This light, or hope, will continue until a new day, suggesting endurance and the promise of better times. The next line is, I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me. Music here symbolizes comfort or inspiration, and the return of Mother Mary reinforces the ongoing presence of guidance or peace. And then Paul sings, "Speaking words of wisdom, let it be." This concludes with the song's core message, rounding off the narrative of finding peace through acceptance. Now, as far as an overall analysis, Let It Be is not just a song, but a philosophical statement wrapped in melody. Its lyrics weave together personal loss, spiritual guidance, and a universal call for peace through acceptance. The repetitive nature of the chorus serves as both a comfort and a reminder to let go of what cannot be controlled. Paul McCartney's lyrics, inspired by a dream of his mother, transcend personal experience to offer solace to all who will listen. The song beautifully captures the essence of finding serenity amidst life's chaos, making Let It Be an enduring anthem for those in need of comfort or clarity. So, what do you think of the song Let It Be? Do you prefer the Phil Spector version or the Let It Be naked version? Either way, outside of listening to it for its pure enjoyment, have you ever sought out the song to listen to for the benefit of comfort and solace? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Kindly remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell because there will be more shows like this one, and I hope you check those out too. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. This channel is sponsored by CampfireShop.com, where you could order candles, herbal supplements, teas, and more. I would also appreciate it if you could become a member of my YouTube channel and or join me on Patreon, where you could watch exclusive walk-in tours of cool places that I've been to. You could also leave a super thanks in the comments below. Kindly be kind to all of our fellow Earthlings, and please do not harm them. And do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog, or both. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.